What is your American dream?
American dream is become an entrepreneur here in US and bringing again some genuinity and authenticity of the Italian culture here in US.
My American dream is to serve the public. I'm running for judge and then want to continue serving on the bench and perhaps one day become a United States Senator. But I always want to give back to the community and the people that supported me along the way. My parents, and I want to make them proud.
My American dream is to make sure that our Constitution is not compromised by, the political people that are in power now, and it bothers me very much so because I am not a lawyer, but I love the law.
My American dream is just live comfortably, really. Not to be too rich, not to be too poor. Just wake up every morning and enjoy life. That's really it.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. It's Monday. It is October 28th. It is 5 minutes to 6 Eastern Standard Time, which means we are right on time for Bradshaw Live starting at 5:30 p.m. Belgium Kim, Yonathan, Yo-Yo, Elias, please set your clocks accordingly.
We're getting later and later.
We're getting later and later by the moment, right?
And then I just realized I was supposed to take the pair down.
Do you want to know how we're getting later and later? Because when we first started our show 2 years ago, and we said 5:30 the show goes on, we were in our seats by 5:15, ready to go.
Wow.
Preparing. It was 5:34. I don't want to call anybody out, but at 5:34, the only person sitting in this room was yours truly. Julian, the TriCaster guy, was still in the ice cream truck. You guys, I don't even know what you were doing.
Coolio,
Okay.
Coolio, I don't know where he is. There was like nothing going on. So I said, when is this show starting? 6 o'clock? When is this going to happen? And then all of a sudden, around 5:45, Yo-Yo saunters in.
Strolls
in.
Yeah.
with my
saunters.
Starbucks.
I think it was more of a saunter than a stroll.
It was a saunter.
A saunter. And I said to him,
Saunter?
I'm sitting here quietly by myself, contemplating.
Yeah.
I said, we should have a spin-off, right?
This is what I came into.
That's right. This is true.
Is what
this is
I
all
came
true.
into.
I said,
This is true.
we should have a spin-off of Bradshaw Live.
Yeah.
Right after Bradshaw Live, we're going to do a show called It's Yo-Yo. I don't know what It's Yo-Yo is going to be.
But it's...
There it is.
It's
and
Yo-Yo.
And then Belgium Kim said to me, what about my spin-off show?
Right, obviously.
And I said, well, you don't get a spin-off show, but you get a very special Belgium Christmas in Belgium show.
That's a special.
So you get a special.
I will take a Christmas
You get a
special
very
all day.
special Belgium Christmas in Belgium.
Only the greats get Christmas specials,
That's right.
Brad.
This is
Only
true.
the greats.
This is true.
So then I said, only if I had my own network, I would actually
Right.
do this.
Right. Or,
Start-
if
started
you
like
did
Bravo.
your own
Started-
show.
or
That's
do
what I'm
our-
saying. You
well-
could be the Andy Cohen.
There you
Well,
go.
what would
Bernstein
It's Yo-Yo be
Productions.
about? I love the name. It's Yo-Yo.
It's Yo-Yo.
Isn't that a great name of her show?
What would it be about?
I have no idea.
It's Yo-Yo. I feel like it's got to be something that you have to go back and forth between.
What
You see
about
what I'm saying?
what
So that
about
we
what
play
about
into
like
the
kind of like
yo-yo
a
thing.
bachelor show, and then we have dates with the Brad Squad.
Oh, God.
And then you start giving roses out. What do you like that idea? That was Jill's idea. That was Jilly's idea.
Might get a little X-rated.
Really?
I was just about to say, do you not remember he was on an entrepreneurship show with T.I. and that got X-rated when you give the man a hot tub and some liquor.
Okay.
Like,
All right. So then
don't give the man a bachelor show.
Don't give him a bachelor show. At Belgium Kim, what would your special Christmas in Belgium be about?
Oh, Brad, you would have such a blast. Christmas in Belgium with Belgium Kim would be tons of food, tons of presents, great traditions, lots of beer, wine, and liquor.
Wow.
Absolutely. Christmas at my house is the best.
Well, maybe we got to get that in production then.
Right.
Listen, happily,
Yes.
my mom's been hounding me. When am I coming home for Christmas? When am I coming home for Christmas?
All right.
Now we know.
And by the way, get Jenny from the cubicle and Pizza, and let him come up with an idea for It's the Yo-Yo Show.
There you
I
go.
love it.
All right. Meanwhile, let me say hello to Lisa Bling Rose, Mia Bontock saying squad up, Jessica Limi, Dion Reed, who else? Javel Finklin said he is sharing. We didn't even have to remind him.
I love it.
We did not have
That's
to
an
remind him
MVP
at
right
all.
there.
CeCe Mitchell, we see watching, Lynn Brown, Abigail Taylor Watson, Bakare Pabi. Bakari Pabi.
Bakari Poppy?
But not with an I, with a Y.
Pabi.
Pabi.
I don't know.
I don't know.
do this
Bakari,
to me.
I don't know if it's any relationship to
Cardi B.
Cardi B. I don't know.
That's
Akmal
Belcalis. That could be.
Siddiqui says he has a question. And I have an answer. Once I stop yelling.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm yelling today.
I don't
Too
know,
much
but-
coffee.
Is that what
I'm
happened?
screaming right now. People are like, why is Brad screaming? And I'm saying that to myself too. Why is Brad screaming?
Is that different than other days?
Right.
I don't know.
Are we drastically different?
I must be, maybe I'm deaf. I don't know.
It's possible.
Val Thomas, how are you? Wasn't Val Thomas, wasn't he the actor opposite Tom Cruise in Top Gun?
Val Kilmer.
Oh, that's Val Kilmer.
I knew you were gonna go Kilmer. I knew.
Completely different.
When you
person.
said Val Thomas, I was like, he's thinking of Kilmer.
All right,
I know.
I'm thinking he's Goose.
Yeah, not Goose.
Like Goose is watching. Kennedy Roy, how are you? And a guy by the name of Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias is in the comment section waiting on the contract for his show now. Rich Kid C saying, squad up my dukes. Barbara Bedward says, miss you guys. I said Jessica Limi, right? Shireen Brightson says, squad up, guys. And Hantia Haladin is watching but quiet. But I see you.
But I see you.
I see you.
Ooh.
Who else we got? Eileen Clark says, squad up. Janet Brown, Shio Domain, Shamora Marcus, Tan Smile. Is that somebody new?
Tan Smile.
Says squad up.
Tan.
Squad up with a happy face with shades on.
Def not new if they're saying squad up.
That is
Right.
true.
Old timer.
Sexy Shan Myers on YouTube. Tracy Lacey, Simone Garraway saying hello. Back it up, Ricky saying good evening to everybody. Ahmed El Amadi says he's trying to call. Well, you try to get through. The best way to call is call about 15 minutes before we go on the air. You'll get on.
That's true.
Right. Can't promise you get on after
Nope.
we get on the air. DZ Info saying hello. And who else we got here? Bukunmi Push. Donald Horden. And everybody else who I missed, hello. We can go say hello to so many people all day long. Belgium Kim, Yonathan, Yo-Yo Elias. Before we get into schmoozing, why don't you tell everybody what they need to do?
The first thing that you guys need to do is make sure, man, this is like throwing me off without the music.
Yes,
Thanks.
there you go. Yes. It doesn't work. It's like trying to sing without right?
Without the beat,
Without the
yeah.
beat,
I was
right?
like, I got off tempo. Let's share acapella. The first thing that you guys
By the
need
way,
to
I
do.
saw,
Yeah.
before we get into sharing, saw a great movie on Netflix.
Pitch
over the
Perfect?
weekend.
Is it
Dolomite.
Dolomite
with Eddie Murphy. You know, Jilly told me to watch it. I watched it Saturday night.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this guy. I never actually heard of him before.
And a lot of people have.
I never heard of him before.
A lot of your favorite comedians.
It wasn't my genre, but obviously.
Exactly. But a lot
you
of
know,
your favorite comedians, they looked up to him.
Correct.
Yeah.
And by the way, they say, I didn't even realize, I always thought it was the Sugar Hill Gang was the godfather of rap. You know, when they did Rapper's Delight.
Right.
I always thought that was like the first rap. He predated Sugar Hill Gang, you know, with an album where he was kind of rhyming to music.
It's
It's
crazy.
a great movie.
Yeah,
great
it's a
movie.
Eddie
great
Murphy
movie.
did that.
I am so excited for this movie. Between you guys talking about it this morning and the hype that I heard about it this weekend, I am so excited.
At my
Yeah,
bar
Eddie
mitzvah,
Murphy.
this past Saturday, one of the dancers and one of the guests came up to me and was like, "Did you watch Dolomite?"
Yeah,
I was like,
great.
"Who the hell is that?"
It was
So,
great.
Yeah.
Great.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
All right, so go tell
Watch
people
it.
to share. That was my PSA of the day.
Yeah.
PSA
Yes.
of the day. Our second PSA of the day, family, is make sure that if you have not joined the official Brad Show Live Brad Squad, you got no way to get an answer to your question. I mean, you have some ways, but no guaranteed ways. There's only one guaranteed way to get answers to your immigration questions. I can't talk today, and the way that you do that is make sure to join that
She's
group
highlight.
on Facebook.
Because she got the highlight.
Exactly,
That's
that's the highlight. Make sure that you join that group, and the first 5 questions that get asked in there every single day are going to be the ones that we answer first during social media check-in. Also, make sure to like our page and hit that little bell. That's going to make sure to let you know whenever we go live, because it's not totally exactly at around 5:30. Also, make sure that you're sharing the show. Family, share it onto Facebook groups that you're a member of, people's walls and timelines, onto your own timeline, old school, old fashioned, just regular your own timeline. We love seeing all of those shares coming across our timeline as we scroll through, because we're friends with most of you. Also, make sure to keep that friendship going by telling us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments, because Yo-Yo and I are going to keep interacting with you throughout the show. And of course, Brad reads them out of the side of his eye, even when he's answering immigration questions. So make sure that you're telling us everything you think and feel about these callers and these stories. On YouTube, what do we do, Yo-Yo?
All right, on YouTube, first thing we're going to do is subscribe. Click that red button that says subscribe and the bell right next to it so you can get notified anytime we come on, anytime we upload a video, anytime we do anything, any type of activity on our YouTube page. So make sure you subscribe and click that little bell. Of course, we definitely want you guys to share. You already know how to share. We say this every single day. I want you guys to start teaching other people how to share. So if you share this show to anybody, make sure you let them know to share as well. All you have to do is click the little arrow that says share, copy the link, send it to a text message blast with WhatsApp, Viber, any text message app you use. You guys can also send it straight to your social media platform. So you can send it straight to your Facebook, straight to your Twitter, straight to your Tumblr. If you guys have any other social media platforms, share it there as well. I want you guys to put a little bio of the show, a little description, and tell them what they're watching.
By the way, the most burning question so far on YouTube is from 29 Super C, who wants to know how Donald Horton's chicken came out on Friday night.
Oh man,
it's a burning question. Did it come out okay?
Listen, there's major. I don't. Don't you?
I don't know. What's so special about Donald Horton's chicken, by the way?
Now, Donald Horton, 29 Super C, and Tolly have some.
But does he have like some special chicken recipe that we all should know about?
Does he?
I don't know. Like, what's so special about his chicken?
Is there a special chicken?
I don't know.
Stop asking me. Why do I know?
I thought you were invited over to his house for chicken. No,
I didn't go. I accidentally ghosted, and I'm really sorry, Donald.
Donald Horton's chicken. It's very famous, apparently.
Apparently.
He makes a mean chicken.
Donald, let us know what's so special about your chicken.
Exactly.
I'm actually wanting
That's
to
true,
know.
because now 29 Super C was thinking about that all weekend.
Exactly.
It's Monday. That's a good point. This is not some last night
Either
stuff.
she or she's just really, really hungry and just needs to talk about food. I don't know.
Maybe
We don't know.
All right, guys. Also, please put in your questions right now. Last week, we had somebody say, you guys never answer my questions. If you didn't put your question in right now, or you didn't join the Facebook Brad Squad, there's nothing else we could say. All right? So we're telling you right now, put all your questions in right now. This is the beginning of the show, so we're more than likely to answer those questions than if you put it in a little later, because we get hundreds of questions every day. All right? And also, last but not least, what we need you guys to do is, we have only 18 thumbs up right now. That little gray thumb that says this, it says this. All right?
That's what it says.
I wanted to say blue.
It says this, except a different color.
Gray.
Right? Except if it's a different color, right? It's gray, not black.
I don't want it to be gray.
Right, you
Give
want
us
it blue.
stripes.
You want it blue.
Right. So click the little thumb, give us a thumbs up, all right? And everybody watching, that's a way to show us your love. Because Facebook, like Facebook, we get, we have our other stuff. You do other stuff to show us love. But for YouTube, I need you guys to click that thumbs up right now. All right, show everybody that we are one. And right.
Yeah.
Are we ready to schmooze?
We're ready.
So Saturday night, while I was watching Dolomite. I think on Netflix it's called My Name is Dolomite.
Yeah.
And while I was watching it, you always have your phone in your hand, right? Because that doesn't seem to ever leave. And a notification came on my phone. Donald Trump is making a huge announcement Sunday morning. I didn't know what this huge announcement was going to be. Turns out that the Delta Forces, the Special Forces for the United States, the Marines who Donald Trump 1 week earlier withdrew out of Syria, went back into Syria and killed the number one wanted terrorist in the world by the name of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Now, I have to tell you, it was not as big a household name as Osama bin Laden. Right? If you asked 99 out of 100 people who is the head of ISIS, did you know his name ahead of time?
I did not.
Nobody seemed to know his name, but apparently he's the number one guy. It was Osama bin Laden was on everybody's everyone knew who Osama bin Laden was. Nobody wasn't 100% certain who this guy was. I have a little tidbits about him. He's been leading ISIS for the last 5 years. Now, he's dead, according to Delta Force and Donald Trump. He cultivated a reputation for beheadings. He attracted tens of thousands of followers. He remained one of the few ISIS commanders who were still at large. He inspired attacks in the heart of Europe and the United States. He encouraged jihadists who could not travel to Syria to kill wherever they were. In the United States, multiple extremists have pledged their allegiance to al-Baghdadi on social media, including a woman who, along with her husband, committed a 2015 massacre at a holiday party in San Bernardino, California.
That's where I went to school.
Right? Do you remember that? I remember that.
Yeah, I did.
I remember that. And then they went to the post office. Not the post office. His office.
It was his own office. It was like a temple.
Right. Yeah, I
like
remember that. He had a $25 million U.S. bounty on his head. Al-Baghdadi was less visible in recent years. He was basically hiding in a cave and releasing only sporadic audio recordings, including one last month in which he called on members of ISIS to do all they could to free the detainees and women held in jails and camps. Obviously, Donald Trump heard that, and he did free them all after he abandoned the Kurds. All the ISIS fighters went out of jail. Despite that, the United States was hot on the pursuit of al-Baghdadi. And they've been hot on the pursuit of him since this summer. And how did they find out about him, Yonathan?
How?
From the Kurds, the people who we abandoned.
Yeah.
And after Donald Trump hastily withdrew out of Syria, and the United States Delta Force thought they had al-Baghdadi in his sights, they almost, and Trump knew they had al-Baghdadi in his sights. He also knew that by withdrawing they may lose him. He did it anyway. Despite all of this, and despite letting the Kurds get killed by the Turkish army, the Kurds still assisted, according to news reports, still assisted in helping the United States track down al-Baghdadi. If it wasn't for the Kurds' assistance, even after Trump abandoned them, he would not have been killed and captured. And apparently, on that Sunday morning, when we didn't know what Donald Trump was going to be announcing, he announced that, and I'm quoting him, last night the United States brought the world's number one terrorist leader to justice. U.S. troops bore down on al-Baghdadi. He fled into a dead-end tunnel with 3 of his children, and then he detonated a suicide vest, killing himself and the children. He was a sick and depraved man, Trump said, and now he's gone. He died like a dog. He died like a coward. Wow. Now, I don't know if he needed to say that part.
Right.
That sounded like like Saddam Hussein. I will kill you like a dog.
Right.
You know, doesn't it sound like that?
Exactly.
Doesn't sound like the president of the United States.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think most people, if you had Delta Force bearing down on them with killer dogs and guns and helicopters, you wouldn't. You'd be a little frightened as well.
It's just such an odd way to recount a military operation.
It's just a weird thing.
Yeah.
And then he added that he was watching the whole thing from the Situation Room.
Wow.
And he said it played out live as though you were watching a movie. Like, what? This is not a movie, this is real life. And this is what he announces. Now, maybe that's what he thought in his head.
Right.
You'd be like, oh my God, like if you're watching, you're like, wow, I feel like, Why would you say that as the president of the United States? It was like I was watching a movie. It was like Chuck Norris was leading Delta Force. Remember, Chuck Norris was in the Delta Force movie. Like I was expecting Chuck Norris to like come up and like get an award right there.
Right, yeah.
I mean, like there's nothing reality about all of this. It's like it's his own real world.
Chuck Norris was in the situation room next to Donald Trump.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. So Trump said no U.S. troops were killed in the operation. Nobody was hurt. Turns out that 2 U.S. troops were injured, but they will survive. Now, the accounting of what Trump saw was provided by a number of military intelligence administration officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. Mr. Trump would not have received any real-time dialogue from the scene. He only watched the videos, but he didn't get any audio. Now, the Delta Force operators were wearing body cameras. That's how it happened. So he's literally watching everything that's going on. And this is, what is this a picture of, Joe?
After the raid.
So is that where he was staying?
They're not streaming their videos. They're just showing pictures
Live,
okay. Jill is saying. So I actually got it wrong. Now, in his address from the White House, Trump suggested that the killing of al-Baghdadi was more significant than the killing of Osama bin Laden, who was killed while President Obama was president.
Why is it more significant?
We don't know. He just assumed it is. Okay. He also praised Russia and Syria, 2 sworn enemies of the United States, and defended his ban on entry to the United States from Muslim countries. So that's what happened there. What I found really ironic is that he needed 3 different things to actually take credit for killing al-Baghdadi.
Okay.
He needed the help of the Kurds, who he abandoned and let basically the Turkish army slaughter them. He needed the help of the U.S. military, who he basically took out of Syria, made their job 10,000 times harder. They didn't even know if they would be able to get him after they withdrew out of Syria. And he needed the help of the quote-unquote deep state that he calls the deep state, which are career diplomats, career military people, career government people, to go CIA, national security people to get the intelligence on the ground, the people who he's railing against who are anti-American and scum. He needed all of them to go kill this ISIS leader. Yet he didn't say anything negative about him on this particular day because he was gloating that he did it. And he didn't also, as Jill said, and no one on Capitol Hill knew it, but in Trump's defense, when Obama killed Osama bin Laden, nobody on Capitol Hill knew. I don't believe either as well. Now, Trump, before we get to Trump going to the baseball game, there's already a new ISIS leader. Just because you cut off the head, another one grows very, very fast. So according to reports, there's a new leader. His name is Abdullah Kardash, and he's a former officer for Saddam Hussein. He is called in ISIS. He's called Abdullah the Destroyer.
Wow,
that's what they call him.
Delightful.
He looks mean.
He looks
vicious, right?
What I said this morning, this is what I told you this morning. I feel like he looks like Joe Giudice's cellmate.
I don't know
like he
who
looks
that
like
is, but
a real angry mobster from the Jersey Shore.
So Abdullah the Destroyer, he's been actually running the day-to-day operations according to news reports, and he's been running the kill campaigns for many months now. So this guy that Trump killed was really a figurehead, but this is the guy who's actually doing all
the
actual killing and the management of the killers.
Right.
A regional intelligence official told Newsweek in confirming that Abdullah the Destroyer is the successor.
It sounds like a wrestler.
Al-Baghdadi, what?
That sounds like a wrestler.
Yeah.
Abdullah the Destroyer.
Yes,
Every time you say it.
He'll be in WWE, World E.
And everything about this, like you just said that he was the manager of killers. Like I can just see his resume. Like, hi, I'm assassin manager.
Now, a former security analyst with the Iraqi government, his name is Fadel Abu Ragif, told the paper in August that Baghdadi was understood to be trying to prepare Abdullah the Destroyer to lead ISIS in the future. researchers at the Rajasthan International Studies in Singapore also stated that Abdullah the Destroyer will be appearing in World. What is it? It's WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember. WrestleMania
Royal
37.
It's the cage fight.
And he's also known, his former name before he was Abdullah the Destroyer, he was known as the Professor. But apparently, the World Wrestling Organization did not like that
Didn't
name.
like that.
And they said, you got to get a tougher name.
Not intimidating enough.
That was not intimidating
that
enough.
was just supposed to be part of his backstory.
Exactly, right. So they had to be more intimidating name. So now they're calling him Abdullah the Destroyer. I don't like to make jokes of this because he's a ruthless killer.
Right.
But what a silly name, right?
So I saw something on Facebook or something that I thought was really funny. Donald Trump had said that ISIS had been defeated like a year ago or something. How do they have a leader and a replacement leader now if they were defeated?
Not only is ISIS not defeated, but he just released about 10,000 of their fighters out of jail in the last week.
It's even in his victory laps he contradicts himself.
By the way, just think about this, okay? We got rid of this guy. So now the new guy, who used to be the Professor, is now Abdullah the Destroyer. And we just gave Abdullah the Destroyer 10,000 fighters.
Sheesh.
That sounds like a bad idea.
It sounds like a very bad idea.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Exactly. So Trump went to the World Series.
Oh,
he never does anything. He never does anything publicly.
And this was in D.C., right?
This was in D.C. He never does anything publicly. But because he just killed this ISIS guy, he says, I'm going to go to the World Series and I'm going to gloat about it because people will cheer me.
Right.
Because I just killed the ISIS leader. It's the only reason he went.
Right.
However, they when he was put on the Jumbotron, that of the dignitaries in the luxury boxes, they were going to the military and then whoever else was famous there, and then they panned Donald Trump, and he was greeted.
And First Lady.
That's right. And he was greeted. We have a video, but he was greeted with a chorus of boos and a chants of lock him up. Let's watch.
It's so clear.
What do you think they were saying?
Lock him up.
Lock him up.
Now, in his defense, he got a few cheers, but they were completely outnumbered by the lock him up chants. Now, Trump made the appearance, as I said, on the same day he announced the killing of the ISIS leader Abu Bakr, Baghdadi. The announcement afforded the president a political win as he faced an intensifying impeachment inquiry, and the chants against the president obviously harked back to lock her up, which is the chants he was leading for Hillary Clinton in 2016.
Oh, this is hilarious. This is his face right when they introduce him. And then the next picture is his face as soon as they start to...
Let's see this face after he... So he was all smiles until he locked him up.
And you could tell, like, he was excited that they announced it. He looked at Melania, was like, oh! And then he heard, boo! And she was like...
Now Monica Alba at Alba Monica on Twitter said, full-on lock him up chants heard throughout the crowd at Nationals Park after President Trump was announced and shown on the screen here. Arlene Parsons said, look how Trump's face changes when he realizes the entire stadium is booing him. Now, I will say this. Everyone got all excited. That means the whole world hates Donald Trump. Not necessarily true. Just means people in suburban Maryland are not big fans of Donald Trump.
Who can afford tickets that are thousands of dollars.
To go to a World Series baseball game. So these are suburbanites, mostly. Suburbanites who either work in the government or work for the government or work for companies for the government, who are usually would be able to afford these tickets for these games. These are people who would probably be like similar to New Yorkers. These are not, Duck Dynasty, the Trump supporters.
I was just about to say.
I always think of like every time I'm like, who's a Trump supporter? Like Duck Dynasty, right?
And they are.
Right?
Fervently. Yeah.
Right.
But I feel like if it would have gone down differently if it was in Alabama.
What?
Like if the game were in Alabama.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
If the game was in Alabama,
it would have been.
They would have cheered.
Lock her up. Would have been. It would have been back to lock her up.
Now that wasn't the only thing happening at the baseball game last night. During the seventh inning, I think this happened during the seventh inning. Did you see this, Yonathan?
No.
You'd be excited about this. Put
I
your
didn't
phone
see
down.
that.
2 women sitting behind home plate. were caught flashing their breasts live on television. The duo exposed their chest as Houston Astros star pitcher Garrett Cole was preparing to make a pitch during their game against the Nationals. The women sporting yellow shirts without bras were sitting just a few rows from the field, apparently in plain sight. Now, it's unclear if Cole's delay was caused by the woman's stunt. I believe it was. Either way, Cole was not distracted, and he threw a strike right down the middle, Yonathan.
Good for him.
It turns out that
Probably
the
gave
women...
him energy.
Yes, it turns out that the women are social media influencers.
Oh, gosh.
They work for Shag magazine, which I guess is like a millennial Playboy, I'm told.
Right.
But they were trying to promote breast cancer awareness. That's what they claim.
That was a great
That
way
It's
to
is-
about
promote it.
breast cancer awareness.
I'm sure it is. Yes.
So-
Wearing your Shag Mag T-shirt. Not a single thing
Now-
of pink on you.
Now,
there you
now
go.
they were thrown
But
out of
yes.
the game. They have been permanently barred from ever attending a Major League Baseball game.
Wow.
And Twitter obviously had some reactions as well. Terry Ann Hillo said, "Somebody bring that man a Gatorade and a wet towel." And Steerler Brad, no relation to real Brad.
Right.
Did you see those two women flash their boobs behind home plate? And it's the H-Town Fox. Said these ladies tried to distract Cole by flashing him. It didn't work, and they've been escorted out of the stadium. Now, apparently, also that night, a baseball game broke out, and they actually didn't play baseball.
Wait, there was a
Apparently,
baseball
nobody
game?
seems to care what happened in the baseball
Right.
game between Donald Trump being booed, lock him up, breasts are flying everywhere. I don't even know who won the baseball game, Yonathan. There was just too much more to talk
The
about.
two girls did.
And Pat Julie just said the Astros won.
I was just about to say.
And now the series is tied 2-2. 3-2 Astros.
3-2 Astros, yeah.
I'm not a baseball fan.
Meanwhile, we still have an impeachment going on. And today, Charles Cooperman, who is the Deputy National Security Advisor, refused to comply with the subpoena to come testify before Congress about what he knows about the quid pro quo between Donald Trump and the Ukrainian government.
Yeah.
He has sued or made a motion to a federal court for a federal court judge to decide whether he should go testify or not. He preemptively did it before declining to show up today. He says he has two competing masters. One master being the executive branch, Donald Trump, who says do not go testify, and another master, the Congress, who subpoena power says he should come testify. Now, it is a crime. It is a crime punishable by 1 year in jail to avoid a subpoena by Congress. It is a crime. Problem being is that the people who prosecute this crime is the Justice Department, run by Donald Trump.
Right.
So he's saying he's not going to prosecute anybody for failing to come to a subpoena by Congress, and in return, we now kind of at a stalemate. It's kind of the playbook that Donald Trump is running right now.
Absolutely.
Because if he can keep people from testifying and kind of bottle it up in the court, by the time this all resolves itself, we'll be past the elections. And then he says to himself, you know what? If we can keep this going for like a year, just like the Mueller report and the Russia investigation, people eventually just get tired of it, and they'll eventually come to my side because they're going to say you're wasting time and resources investigating behind closed door all of this BS, and eventually, the tide will turn in my favor, which is what happened with the Mueller report.
Right.
It took so long. People got tired of talking about it. People got tired of listening about it, and it became anticlimactic. And people were already, let's get on with it.
Yeah.
Now, Obama used the same thing.
Okay.
So, Obama, Eric Holder, back in, I want to say 2014, I could be wrong, but it was around there, he was subpoenaed about something with guns.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly, but he was subpoenaed about something with guns. And he says, I'm not going to come, and Eric Holder at the time was the head of the Justice Department, just like William Barr is now. He says, I'm not going to come. And Obama says, I'm not going to give over any documents. And it was a Republican Congress. They sued. It took 18 months before a federal court went through the appeals process, said, Holder, you got to appear for subpoena. You got to give these documents. But you want to know what happened after 18 months? It was all moot. The investigation was over, and nobody cared.
Of course.
Now, Democrats said that the attempts by Cooperman and others do not comply with subpoenas. It's not going to delay their impeachment investigation, regardless of whether they decide to go to court to enforce the subpoenas. House Democrats have been fast-tracking the impeachment process, and House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff said Monday it would not deter him. We are not willing to allow the White House to engage us in a lengthy game of rope-a-dope in the courts.
Good for him.
So that's what's going on there. Meanwhile, it came out today, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman. It did not come out today, but it came out recently. Okay, Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman. They're like the Laurel and Hardy of this entire, right? Don't they look like the Laurel and Hardy, right? Or the Abbott and Costello of this whole Ukrainian thing.
100%.
Like when they make a movie and they need like the comedy relief, it's going to be Lev Parnas and Igor Fruman.
Yeah.
So it came out recently that, they were indicted for giving illegal donations from foreign sources to the Trump organization and to the Republican Party in furtherance of President Trump's election campaigns.
Right.
They are also associates of Rudy Giuliani, who are hired by Rudy Giuliani. There's one of them, Parnas or Fruman. We don't know who's that guy. Sitting next to Trump. They were also hired by Giuliani to go dig up dirt on Biden. Right. So they're all part of this conspiracy, all the same thing. So they've been charged, according to the United States Attorney, with conspiring to make contributions in connection with federal elections in the names of others, and with making false statements to and falsifying records to obstruct the administration of a matter within the jurisdiction of the Federal Election Commission. That is the actual indictment and charges. Now, it turns out that they have their own companies that they would use to A, funnel money, and B, to make their money. So if anybody was making a payment to them, it would go to their company. Okay? And if they were making payments out, they would pay out of this company.
Right.
Apparently, Lev Parnas' company, and we're not making this up, was called Fraud Guarantee. That was the company. That was the company that was making the donations, and that's the company in which he was making money from. Fraud Guarantee.
I love that.
And Igor Fruman, who owns a club in the Ukraine, also had a company called Mafia Rave.
What?
That's a real thing.
These are real companies that these guys owned. Fraud Guarantee and Mafia Rave. You can't make this stuff up. I was telling Belgium Kim when she showed me the news article earlier today, because I didn't know about this.
Right.
I'm like, wait a second. So you're telling me, like, if I was like, going to go to the, I got to get my dry cleaning cleaned, right? So, you know what? I'm going to go to Sunshine Dry Cleaners. All right. I know what Sunshine Dry Cleaners is going to do. They're going to clean my clothes.
Right.
And maybe if I want to go to the movies tonight, I'll go to AMC Movie Theater.
Right.
I know what I'm going to get there.
Very simple.
I'm going to get to see a movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay? I wonder what Igor Fruman does if I go to his company, a Mafia Rave. What do you think's going to happen there? Or what is Lev Parnas
members raving.
Or what is Lev Parnas? Let me go call Lev Parnas. What's the name of your company? Fraud Guarantee.
Like what?
I mean, can you imagine how dumb criminals could possibly be?
But if you picture a bunch of mobsters with glow sticks
that is
around their neck and just
visual.
like tank tops, just like, and a whistle in their mouth, just whoo, whoo, like that sounds like a good time. That's a fun company.
I agree.
Can you be any dumber than that, right?
Yeah, no.
It's like if I wanted to change the name to law offices of Spar and Bernstein and I was a crooked lawyer, which I'm not.
Right.
Okay. But if I'm a crooked lawyer and I want to market myself as a crooked lawyer, I would be changing Spar Bernstein's name to Howie Cheatham. What is it? Howie Cheatham. Law offices of Howie and Cheatham or something like that. It's Howie Cheatham and something, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an old joke, right?
I've heard this.
Yeah,
I don't know the rest.
It's Howie Cheatham and something.
Something
like that. Right, so Howie would be the first name.
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Oh, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
So the three partners are Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Right. So it's like the same stupid thing, right? All right. Meanwhile, California's on fire.
Oh my gosh.
I don't get this.
Right.
I don't get this. I don't understand how in this day and age this happens. And politicians and our government know this happens every year. Yeah. LeBron James is driving around with his kids this afternoon. Did you see that?
Yeah.
LeBron James is driving around. He had to evacuate his home in Los Angeles. Wow. His home may be up in flames.
Yeah.
He was in the evacuation. So he's trying to play basketball, but meanwhile he's tweeting that he's driving around LA looking for a hotel for him and his children and his wife to live in while he had to evacuate. So it's not only him, it's hundreds of thousands of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Where are they going to go? You say evacuate, where am I going to evacuate to?
Right.
Where am I going? Just get in the car and drive?
Right.
And this happens every year. And I was just even saying, off the air, I said, if this happened in New York, this would be like on the front page of every newspaper. This would be ahead of impeachment. Even if like one block was on fire. Right. This would be ahead of everything. Okay, we have hundreds of thousands of people being evacuated. I tried to look today. I couldn't even figure out what areas were being evacuated. Yeah. I only heard one area because that's LeBron James's area.
Right.
Other than that, nobody was even. How does this happen in this day and age?
It's just real sad.
It's obviously because of global warming.
It is literally 95 degrees out there during fall right now.
But can I make a suggestion? And maybe this is stupid of me, and I'm all in favor of environment. Okay, because when I was out in California, people were coughing. Did you notice when you were out in California, people were coughing?
No,
and they're not sick. They're inhaling smoke from all the fires.
The crazy thing was when we went the same week, and we were looking up in the sky, and my aunt was like, "Oh, there must be another fire. Please check the news." And I was like, it's so normal for them, but the sky was so like dirty looking. I was like, I checked. I was like, there's no fire. This is just y'all sky right now.
And people are going to get sick from this. Just like when the World Trade Center came down, people are going to get sick from breathing all of this in from day in and day out. Yeah. And I say to myself, and I'm no expert in this. I have no idea actually. It's my own opinion. I've read absolutely nothing about this. Would it pay just to cut the trees down so there's no fire anymore? I mean, I know people don't want to cut trees down, but if your choice is, to me, if you try, I know Donald Trump said that.
I was going to say this
but
is a Trump idea, Brad.
But now I'm thinking about it. It's not such a dumb idea if the country's going to be on fire every week. Just cut the trees down and plant trees somewhere else. I mean, or bury all the electric wires. One or the other has to happen.
I feel like burying power lines
I don't
is
know
better
what
than
else to
cut all the
do.
trees.
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
If somebody has a third option.
I am no meteorologist, so I don't. But
because if the trees are going to burn anyway, there's going to be no trees left.
That's true, but there are tons of fire prevention methods.
What are they? See, I don't know.
Like controlled burns. They do controlled burns that basically you burn like an exterior edge of a really of like a very dry area, and they can't get past that dry. Like if there's nothing to burn, they do a controlled burn so that it can't hop over a highway or something like that. A lot of medians get burned in California.
But you know what?
For that reason.
Something has to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I gotta educate myself more on this. Okay, I don't feel I'm educated enough about what to do to prevent California fire. But I am sure that the people in the government are and doing nothing about it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he also had to evacuate his house. He had to evacuate at 3:30 this morning, and he's the former governor.
Right.
And he says, we evacuate safely at 3:30 this morning. If you're in the evacuation zone, don't screw around, get out. Right now, I'm grateful for the best firefighters in the world, the true action heroes who charge into the danger to protect their fellow Californians. I even read that there's now, the wealthy are going to be able to save their homes, but the middle class and poor will not in California.
Of course.
And of course, it always happens that way. But why? Because now wealthy communities are hiring private firefighters. Just like wealthy communities are starting to hire private police forces and security forces, they're hiring private firefighters, wealthy communities to save their community while everybody else burns.
That's not okay.
While everything else burns. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying that's crazy.
Right.
Well, but you think of even just the coverage. Like I was reading about these wildfires today. Did you know that earlier this month, just like 2-3 weeks ago, 17 people in California died of wildfires? people haven't died yet of these that are happening right now, but 17 people died earlier, and we didn't talk about it because it was in Northern California where it's not the wealthy part, but now the fires are raging in Brentwood, so it's front page news.
By the way, how many people died at the hands of murderous Central Americans and Mexicans who ran across the border last week that we're pouring $5 billion into a wall for?
Right.
Was it 17? I don't think so.
No, absolutely not.
I would argue I highly doubt it.
Right,
okay?
absolutely.
But we're in a craze. We are absolutely in a craze about undocumented people coming across the border and killing us. Meanwhile, we're killing ourselves.
Absolutely.
And nobody's saying or doing anything about it.
It's not,
Well, got to say something nice before we
Please.
leave. Dave Chappelle.
Oh.
Did you like his special on Netflix?
I didn't see it yet.
Did you thought it was? I thought it was funny.
I thought it was funny.
It was very politically incorrect.
Yeah.
If you're into politically correct humor, don't watch it. You'll be offended, right?
Yes, but I do.
You'll be highly offended by it.
I can be. I'm on the cusp of political correctness, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Where it came from.
Meanwhile, on Sunday, Dave Chappelle accepted the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. And this was in Washington, D.C. The accolade is considered by many to be among the highest comedy honors. Previous recipients include the likes of Whoopi Goldberg, Lily Tomlin, Lorne Michaels, who is the executive producer for Saturday Night Live, Steve Martin, who King Tut, famous for King Tut.
Right.
Tina Fey from Saturday Night Live, Will Ferrell, who was Elf, David Letterman, famous from the David Letterman Show, Julie Louis-Dreyfus from Seinfeld,
Right.
Eddie Murphy from Dolomite, and Belgium Kim from Bradshaw Live. You did not invite me to your award-winning getting your award.
It'll be live on PBS on January 7th, Brad.
Okay. So Belgium Kim in her acceptance speech, she said, "I love my art form because I understand every practitioner of it, whether I agree with them or not. I know where they're coming from. They want to be heard. They got something to say. There's something they noticed. They just want to be understood. I love this genre. It saved my life." That was very profound, Belgium Kim.
Thanks.
Except you didn't say it. It was said by Dave Chappelle.
He did.
In his acceptance speech. Belgium Kim did not win it this year. Comedians such as Tiffany Haddish and Sarah Silverman were on hand to pay tribute. Haddish described Dave Chappelle as a mentor and a big brother, while Silverman said his critical thinking is his art. So congratulations, Dave Chappelle. I liked it. And you know what? We got to get to immigration questions. We're late already.
Amazing.
Belgium Kim, Yonathan, Yo-Yo, let's tell everybody what they need to do.
Okay, family. I'm so sorry, Yonathan. Go for it.
All right, everybody, now on Facebook. So we have held this information back because we need you guys to go to work right now. So we've been at work. You guys haven't really done a lot, all right? So what you're going to do right now to make up for that is start a watch party, all right? So this is where you start a watch party, and look at that. We got graphics for this. This is how important it is for you guys to start a watch party.
Look at that.
All you have to do is click share, a couple options down, 2 options down that will say host a watch party, and when you do that, it shares the actual show onto your profile, and you're able to communicate and comment with all your friends and family. It will send a ding notification to all of your friends online right now, and even your friends offline. It will show up in their notifications saying you have started a watch party. So this is pretty dope because you're literally the host of your own Bradshaw Live party. Okay, so when you guys do that, you guys bring them back into the main comment section as well. Introduce them. If any of your friends are interested in the show when they're in your watch party, they're like, oh, this show is pretty cool, or oh, I have a question. Make sure you tell them to come into the comment section of the main watch party and also introduce them to the Brad Squad. Okay, this is very important because every time we do this, numbers go flying. As numbers go flying, we get better stories, we help so many more people. This is what we're doing the show for. And you guys are actually the ones that are helping us mainly. We can't really do too much. We could start 3 watch parties here and it's just gonna go to our friends, but all of the over 300 people that are watching right now, if you guys start watch parties, it will literally go out to the entire world. This is an international show, and we need you guys to help us get the word out. All right, so what else are we gonna do?
Also, make sure that you join the Brad Show Live Brat Squad Facebook group at the link below in the comments. And of course, you guys, keep telling us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments, whether you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. That's the move, slow or fast or real sensual or real quick with it. What's up, Brad?
I have a question. Do we have a way
Yeah.
of seeing every person who starts a watch party?
We don't, Brad.
We do not.
It's got to be an honor system.
It's an honor system.
So if we're
Or you
friends
can
with them.
Yeah, or comment into the comment section.
Exactly.
Because that's
So
the
it's
only
an
way
honor
we'll know.
system.
Right.
So you gotta tell us. This is the honor part, family. Don't just say I started a watch party and not really start a watch party. Because I am messy and I will click. And I will click into your profile and see if there's a watch party.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can Pizza and Jenny from the Cubicle
Yeah.
go check on people who claim they're doing a watch party? For every person who does a watch party this week, we will collect names of everybody, and next week we'll pick out of the drum for a free consultation. Are we able to do that?
I don't think that would be super, not if someone's profile is private. Is the
Okay,
problem.
but if it's private, we won't be able to do it.
Right, so if your profile is private in any kind of way, they
All
would
right, so
what
qualify.
they can
this is
do-
why we have to have production people.
Well,
This
what,
is why.
what they
All right,
can
we'll
do,
come up with something else then.
I mean, we'll talk about it, but what they can do is send a screenshot into maybe Belgium Kim's.
Do a screenshot and
or
just,
like into,
that's
you know.
perfect. Start a watch party, send a screenshot to Belgium Kim.
There
How
you go.
are you going to do that?
You guys gotta send it to Belgium Kim on Facebook, facebook.com/Belgium Kim TV.
And then we'll
Send
pick
me
you
a
out, and
screenshot
then
of that
we'll
watch
pick
party.
you out for a free consultation.
And we'll
next
pick
week.
you out.
How's that?
Let's do
There
it.
you go.
All right, so let's start again. Watch party, quickly.
Okay, family, make sure that if you hit share, hit start a watch party, and make sure to let every single one of your friends and family know that you are watching Brad Show Live right now. You just hit that share, hit start watch party, get a cute little name about what's going on and what you're watching and what they can find out, and just hit start. It'll give you your very own control over your very own comment section, and of course, let people know where they can watch Brad Show Live. And now is the time you've all been waiting for, family. It's the time you need to be getting answers to your immigration questions.
All right, Damodar in Columbus, Ohio. Damodar, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, what's going on?
Good. Yeah, I have a question about my petition. I'm a student on an F1 visa.
Right.
So my wife has a green card. I got married like 2 years ago.
Great.
So she filed I-130 for me, and then the priority date is April 8, 2019.
Okay. Are you approved?
No, it's in pending.
Are you still in student status?
Yes.
Okay. Then if you're in student status, it's pending I-130. The priority date is current. You should file your adjustment immediately while you can, and do it now before the laws change, because right now there's an injunction on what President Trump wants to do with the affidavits of support.
Okay, so could I file at the same time like I-485 and
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I-76?
That's exactly what I'm saying for you to do right now.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's what my question was. You know, like I was researching everywhere and I didn't get the answer. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate. I really appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. You can do it. You can do it. Do it. Do it.
Do it, do it. Okay, we're done.
A little crazy today. Olu in Tucson, Arizona. Olu.
Olu, how are you?
How are you,
doing?
Olu?
Good afternoon, Brad. Good evening over there.
Go ahead. What's going on?
Yeah, Brad. I actually put in my renewal of my EAD card since January 29th, and I never heard anything from them until this month on the 5th, saying it has been received and they are reviewing it from the National Center. So I just want to know, how long do I need to wait?
All right, let me understand this correctly. You filed for
Say it again.
I just want to understand what you're saying to me correctly. You filed for a work permit renewal. It took them 10 months to send you back a receipt notice that it was received, and you want to know how long it will take. I don't. You effed up somewhere, or immigration effed up somewhere. I don't know where, but I never heard of filing something and getting a receipt notice 10 months later. So you're asking me how much longer? I don't know. Only the Magic 8 Ball knows. But I do know that something totally in legal parlance is messed up. I don't know why you would file for a work permit and get a receipt notice saying they finally received your application 10 months after the fact.
I have another question for you.
Okay.
When you put
so far, I can't help you because I don't know what you did wrong. Okay, go ahead.
So I just want to know if you're putting in the renewal of your EAD card, which I've already gotten one, a combo one before expire on May. So I'm asking now, how long do you know that it's the processing time for the renewal?
It's 6 months.
Of the other one.
6 months.
6 months, but now it's almost 10 months.
But you just told me they just received it 10 months after the fact. So either the mail is really screwed up, you screwed up, or immigration screwed up. I have no idea.
I received mail. They say they are verifying my fingerprints and they are working on it.
Oh, Lou, listen to me, okay? Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. You filed for a work permit renewal in January. January goes by, February goes by, March goes by, April goes by, May goes by, June, July, August. I'm getting tired of saying these months. September, October, 10 months later, finally immigration sends you a letter saying we received your application. That's messed up. Something's wrong. And you're asking me to figure out through telepathy why it took them 10 months to send it to you. All I can tell you is you messed up, immigration messed up, the mail messed up. I don't know the answer. But we can figure it out. But I don't know. I can't tell you right now how long it'll be till you get your work permit. It's impossible.
Okay, thank you.
All right. He's not happy with my answer.
No, he is not.
I am terribly sorry. But how can I? How? Only the Magic 8 Ball knows. I can tell you this. If you go to file for your work permit or your work permit renewal and you don't get a receipt in 2, 3, 4 weeks, then something's messed up. That's the time. His time to have called me was January, not 10 months after the fact.
Right, exactly.
All right. Let's go to Cindy in Cincinnati. Cindy.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hi, Brad.
What's going on?
I'm your squad. Good day, Brad. Yeah, I have a question for you, Immigration Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I came into the U.S. 5 years ago, precisely, with a Form I-130. I got my 10 years already.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, my husband of almost 23 years, he walks away. So now I'm trying to file for my citizenship by myself. But the only problem, my scare there is he got married some time ago. So I don't know if it's going to affect my
All right, so
interview.
let me just get the timeline. Okay, when did you marry? Let's just answer questions quickly. When did you marry your husband? What year?
23 years ago.
23 years ago. When did you get your green card?
Sir.
When did you get your green card?
I got my green card. I came into the U.S. 5 years ago because there were
5 years
lots
ago.
of...
Fine, so you got your 10-year card. And now your husband has divorced you and moved on to somebody else.
No, we've not even divorced.
You're not even
That is the
divorced. Well,
problem.
all right. The law doesn't say you have to stay in an unhappy marriage. Okay? You were married for 23 years. When you came to America, I presume it was a bona fide marriage. You got here and things didn't work out. You're perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfectly okay that you are no longer with your husband. It's perfectly okay to go into immigration and say you're not with your husband. You've separated. You've been a permanent resident for 5 years. You lawfully got your green card. You're totally eligible for citizenship. Don't lose 1 minute of sleep over it.
Okay, because already I put in
Put it in, you're fine.
application.
You're fine. As long as you have good moral character for 5 years, you've never lied to the government, you pay your taxes, you know how to read, write, and speak English, you'll be fine.
So it's not going to matter now that he got married, even though we are not divorced. That is my scare.
Okay, he's a bigamist. You're not responsible for him breaking the law.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you, Brad.
You're welcome.
That is the emperor himself. Thanks for
thank
your
you.
good work.
The emperor himself. All right. So I think people are starting to do their watch parties.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Why don't you tell everybody quickly one more time, because we're going to be answering as many questions as we can in 15 seconds or less, Belgium Kim.
Okay, everybody hit share, start a watch party, and let all of your friends know that you're watching Brad Show Live right now. And here's Brad with more of your immigration answers.
All right, thank you very much. That was perfect.
Great.
Samantha in Biloxi, Mississippi. Samantha.
Hey, Brad, how
Hi,
you
how are
doing?
you?
I'm good. Okay, I have a question for you. I went to my interview in May of this year, but in August I received a notice from them say it's the advanced parole because my case is still under review. Would you advise me to travel on a advanced parole?
Absolutely. It's perfectly safe to travel. Advanced parole has been around for decades and decades and decades. In my career of 25 plus years, I have never seen anybody who traveled for a short period of time, don't stay out of the country for a year, but traveled for a short period of time with a pending case for adjustment of status, who traveled and returned while their case was still pending, and everyone's allowed back in. That's the law. Okay, so as long as you don't stay out for months at a time, you can go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 10 days, a week, perfectly safe. You return, you have a pending case, as long as you obviously you don't have a criminal record or anything like that.
Okay.
All right?
Thank
All right,
you.
enjoy your trip. Let's go to Ahmed in Columbus, Ohio. Ahmed,
How we doing?
how are you?
Really, really well now that I've seen you guys. I just want to let you guys know you guys do such a great job
Thank
with
you.
the digital marketing stuff. It's ridiculous.
Thank you.
I'm a digital marketer myself. You guys' content and social media,
I appreciate it.
It's just amazing. Alrighty,
It's not me, it's everybody else. I just come and talk.
Okay, gotcha. Well, your digital marketing team
Thank you.
is spectacular.
Thank you.
So
Thank
let me
you.
tell you,
Yes.
this is a juicy one. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Oh boy.
All right. All right.
Whoa, okay. Let me get my pocket square ready too. All right, we're all ready now. What happened to Ahmed?
Ahmed?
Oh, no, man.
Oh, come on, Ahmed.
You can't juice
You
us
can't
up.
juice us like that and say you're ready
Lather us up like
hang
that.
up. Somebody get Ahmed back
Right.
on. I'm all lathered up, ready to go.
Oh my gosh. To the front of the line with
Yes.
Ahmed. I'm dying.
All right. Laura in Atlanta, Georgia. Laura. Laura in Atlanta, Georgia. Laura in Atlanta, Georgia. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Laura's gone. Let's go to Sammy in Nashville, Tennessee. Sammy.
Oh, hi, Brad. How are
Sammy.
you?
How are you?
Okay. I have a question for you. It's I have my green card since '95.
Right.
And I've been arrested in 2004 for trying to buy stolen property, and it reduced to misdemeanor, trespassing, land and cultivation. The code was 602.
Where did this happen?
In California.
Okay, so you were arrested for receipt of stolen property. It was reduced to a misdemeanor. I don't know the California Penal Code off the top of my head. I assume you didn't go to jail or anything, or you spent very little time in jail?
It was 3 years probation, and I paid the fine 1,000 and community service.
Okay, and now your question is what?
The misdemeanor, it was the trespassing, land and cultivation.
Okay.
My question is, my green card expired since 2005, and I was afraid to renew it. So is this considered like an aggravated felon, or?
It doesn't sound like an aggravated felony to me. Generally, with theft offenses, aggravated felonies would fall into one of two categories for theft offenses. Some sort of theft offense that you went to jail for more than a year, or sometimes theft offenses are fraud offenses where the loss to the victim is in excess of $10,000. If there's no fraud involved here and there's no loss to a victim of more than $10,000, then it wouldn't be an aggravated felony under fraud. If you didn't spend a year in jail, which you didn't, you had 3 years probation, it wouldn't be an aggravated felony under the theft offenses for aggravated felony. It sounds to me, because again, I don't know the California Penal Code off the top of my head, but it sounds to me that it is a crime of moral turpitude that happened more than 5 years after you entered America and had a green card. You're allowed one crime of moral turpitude as long as it happened more than 5 years after your entry, and you've had a green card for more than 5 years. That in of itself is not a deportable offense, and presumably you would be able to renew your green card. Now, let me finish. Being deportable or removable does not mean you're inadmissible. If you were to travel with that green card and come back, it's very likely that they could put you in removal proceedings and find you inadmissible. So the laws are different for removal versus for traveling back into the United States. With all that being said, my only concern is I would want to read the California Penal Code for that particular section of law that you were found guilty of to make sure there's no fraud elements.
Yeah, it's so for being expired for 14 years, is going to be any problem to renew it?
I don't know if you just heard the words that came out of my mouth. I just said if it's a crime of moral turpitude, it happened more than 5 years after you entered America with your green card, you're not deportable. You wouldn't be able to travel. It's a crime of moral turpitude. My concern is there a fraud element involved? I don't know that answer. You may want to have a consultation. But based on what you're telling me, you seem to be okay. I can't give you my 100% stamp of approval until I read the California Penal Code to confirm what I'm saying. Hold on. Let's go. Did we ever get Ahmed back? Ahmed in Columbus, Ohio. What happened to you, Ahmed?
I have no clue. My phone works just fine. I do cell phone repair. I got the news of the news, so I don't know what happened.
William Barr. It's William Barr every time. I think he's screwed with our phone system. All right, what's going on, Ahmed?
Alrighty, so I'm a really good kid, but I have 2 felonies, right?
Okay.
I've been in the States almost my whole life. I was born in Egypt,
Ahmed,
yeah.
Let's take a step back. When did you get your green card?
I got my green card in 2008 because it expired in 2018. So.
Okay, so how old are you?
I am 26.
So when you got your green card in 2008, you were about 15 years old, correct?
Around that makes sense.
And how did you get your green card when you were 15?
Well, my dad came here on a work visa and eventually became a professor in the States.
Okay.
So through some sort of visa from my dad.
And even though you got your green card when you were 15, you entered the United States on a visa to accompany your dad. How old were you?
It was twice. It was in the 90s when I was like 2 or 3, and then again in 2004.
Okay, so you came finally for a full time in 2004 from Egypt. You were at that time, I guess, 12 or 13. You got your green card when you were 15, 16, 2008.
Yeah, I was like 11.
Okay, got it. Now tell me about your felonies.
All right, so I have a F5 drug trafficking and a corrupting another with drugs.
All right, drug trafficking is completely an aggravated felony. We don't even have to get into the second one. If it happened and you were treated as an adult, it was not treated as a juvenile delinquency, you're an aggravated felon. You're gonna get deported every time on that conviction. That's a big problem that you have.
Gotcha.
Okay, what I would suggest, 1 second, because of your situation, and we have lots of people watching, I wouldn't want to talk anymore about it. I would have a consultation, a private one-on-one consultation. Hold on 1 second. Let's go to Laura in Atlanta. Maybe she's back. Laura.
Hi.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm good.
What's going on?
I have 2 questions to ask you, Brad.
Yes.
Can you file for tax if you don't have a work permit or Social Security?
Yeah, you can. You file a tax return. You attach a W-7 to your tax return, request a tax identification number, and you file your taxes.
Oh, okay. I mean, when I'm filing for my citizenship, for my green card, I can actually file for tax, joint tax without...
Yes. So in other words, one of the things you have to do, okay, I think I got your question. You're here out of status. You're married to a U.S. citizen. You want to file your adjustment of status. Part of filing an adjustment of status application is you have to show that you have a financial relationship with your spouse. I say that all the time. One of the ways to prove a financial relationship with your spouse is that you have a joint tax return. So you have to file joint tax returns for every year in which you've been married. So if you got married in 2019, you need to file a joint tax return in 2020 for 2019. If you got married in 2018, you got to file a joint tax return in 2019 with your spouse for 2018. Now, it's possible that you got married in 2018 and your spouse had a household or married filing separately, but didn't file a joint tax return with you because you didn't have a Social Security number. What you would need to do at that point would be to amend the tax return to a joint filing. You attach what's called a W-7 form to your joint tax return requesting a tax ID number. At the same time, you're going to want to file your adjustment and get your work permit. And what's going to happen is at some point in a few months, the IRS and even the state's going to write you a letter saying, we accepted your taxes, but what's your Social Security number? And hopefully at that point, you will have received your work permit, you got your Social Security number, and you would be able to respond to those letters. I've now told you everything I know about taxes. Hold on one second, okay? If you need help. But I've just told them everything. All of the knowledge I know about taxes, all in 3 sentences. All right, let's go to Mark in Decatur, Indiana. Mark.
Hello. Good evening, brother.
Good evening. How are you?
So, I'm great, I guess. So, in 2017, I got married, February 2017, and then in December of 2017, me and my wife got into an argument because I was supposed to go to a concert with one of my friends, but she thought I was going with a female, and she pushed me down a staircase, but I didn't fall. So my reflex grabbed her to break my fall because I was going down the staircase.
I don't need to know every last detail. You got arrested from all of this?
Yeah, for a week.
So you got arrested for what?
They're trying. Well, I won my case.
What would you get arrested for? Just answer the question. You got arrested for what?
Domestic violence, strangulation.
Okay, fine. And now, what was the end? You say you won your case. What does "I won my case" mean to you?
Well, she told them that she got upset.
You're not answering my question. You said to me, "I got arrested for domestic violence and strangulation." I guess they allege that you put your arm around her neck. Okay?
Yes.
No matter what, I don't care what happened. I mean, I care what happened, but for purposes of immigration, it doesn't matter. The only things I need to know to give you immigration advice is what were you arrested for and what was the outcome. The actual facts of what happened are, for our purposes, irrelevant. It's relevant, obviously, for the criminal case, may be relevant for your relationship with your spouse, it may be relevant for future relationships that you may have. It may be juicy for people to hear, Brad Squad to hear what happened, but my job right now is to help you as best as I can, give you the best advice I can give you. So the best advice I can give you is I only need 2 bits of information. One is, what were you arrested for? What was the outcome? We know you're arrested for strangulation, domestic violence. You said you won the case, and my question to you is, what does "I won the case" mean?
Well, she dropped she told them that
she didn't want to press charges. She didn't want to press charges. And what happened?
The state picked it up.
They dismissed the charges against you?
Well, I go to court and they didn't have enough evidence to penalize me for it, so they dismissed the case.
All right, so good. All right. So you were arrested for domestic violence and strangulation. Your wife didn't proceed as a witness. They had no evidence otherwise. They dropped the charges.
Yes.
Your question now is what?
So I went to did my interview in June for my green card.
Right.
And they sent back that they need evidence of my case, why it was dismissed, why it was dismissed. So I sent it to them, like all evidence and letter from the judge and my attorney, my public defender, and everything to them. So how long do you think before I get a response from them?
Well, this is what the law says, okay? Based on what you told me, you're entitled to get your green card. This is through your spouse. I assume everything's good between the two of you now. Hopefully you never run into this situation again. I always hate to hear domestic violence cases. It makes me upset when I hear these things. But I'm glad that you and your spouse are together. I'm glad that things are working out. She filed for you.
Thank you.
You're eligible for your green card. Based on what you told me, you should get it. After you submit all the documentation, by law, the government has 120 days to make a decision. So this was July, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you got July, August, September, October. By early November, they have to give you a decision. It's more than 120 days. At that point, you got two choices. You can sit on your thumbs and do nothing. You can contact immigration, which isn't going to do anything. You can contact your congressman or senator, it's not going to do anything. So it's basically wait for them to violate your rights indefinitely until they decide to make a decision. Or you file what's called the mandamus, which is you sue the government and force them to do their job, which is make a decision in 120 days. That's what the law says.
Okay.
Those are your choices.
Thank you.
All right, but you're entitled to a green card based on what you told me, if that makes you feel
Okay,
better.
thank you.
Okay.
Cause
all right, let's go to Sonia in Brooklyn, New York. Sonia.
Hi, good evening.
Hi, Sonia. How are you?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
I'm fine, thank you. So about a month ago, I filed an adjustment of status for my husband.
Right.
He's living here in New York with me since 2017.
Right.
I want to know how long do I expect to hear from immigration?
You filed an adjustment. Magic 8 Ball, how long does she hear from immigration? I have no idea. The Magic 8 Ball says the outlook is good that you will eventually hear from them. But the answer is anywhere from 6 months to 3 years. We have no idea. I don't know how long it will be.
And so how long it takes for me to hear from them for the adjustment of status?
Correct. I wouldn't be surprised if you get an adjustment in 6 months. I've seen it. I've seen other people wait 3 years. I've seen everybody wait any time in between. All I can tell you is this. If after 12 months you have not adjusted your status, they're violating your rights, and you can continue to wait, or you can file a mandamus, which is what I talk about all the time. But I can't. But in other words, you call me, you say, I filed on this day. I'm pulling out my calendar right now. When should I hear from them? I don't know. I have no idea. All I can tell you is anywhere 6 months and 3 years. Yeah.
So will they, I did the application for the work permit and the travel document, I think.
Right.
So how do they do that? Do they send that to you?
Yes, you should get it within 6 months. The law says 3, but it's generally taking 6 these days.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Best of luck. If you don't hear anything in 12 months, then obviously give us a call.
I'll surely come in and see you.
Thank you. Now, we're going to get back to more immigration calls in a minute. We're not done taking your immigration calls. So you can call right now, 1-800-529-5465, which is a number that you see scrolling below if you want to get on the air and talk to me. In the meantime, in another edition of Spar and Bernstein attorney, close-up immigration attorney, Janelle Baptiste, she's one of the attorneys here at Spar and Bernstein, discusses a question she is commonly asked by clients. Let's watch.
So one of the most common questions I receive from a client is whether or not they qualify to obtain a work permit. A work permit is usually given to a person if they have an application for a green card that's already pending. It's very important that people understand that it's not only about getting a work permit, but making sure that you actually qualify for the basis of getting a green card on which the issue of that work permit is based. Many times people have come to us during consultations who have gone to somebody, whether it's an attorney or a notario, who has helped them obtain a work permit, but actually placed them in a worse position than they were previously by having them apply for a green card through means by which they were not actually entitled to the green card. So it's really important that when you're thinking of getting a work permit, you come have a consultation with us and we'll let you know what your options are.
Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. All right, well, we're going to Belgium, Kim, and Yonathan, very quickly. What do everyone need to do while I get ready to answer more questions?
All right, now it's time for the second round of questions where you guys get to call in. But what we need you guys to do right now, especially for the new people that just joined in, start a watch party. So if you are new, especially if you're new to the Brad Squad or new to the show, all you have to do is click that little button that says share. A couple options down says start a watch party or host a watch party. It will let you know how many of your friends are online, and it literally will send a notification to every single one of them right now. So everybody do that, confirm in the comments that you did, and here's round 2 of getting your answers with the immigration questions.
All right, let's go to Edwin in Houston. Edwin.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Edwin.
Hi.
What's going on?
I have a few questions.
Yes.
I got married 2016, and this is the third time I've applied for my EED. And the last one I applied for, I applied with a parole, and I've been approved, and I got the plastic. So I've been to the interview 3 times. So the 2 times I've been to
you applied through marriage, and you've been to 3
Yes.
interviews already?
Yes, sir.
What happened on the last interview? Let's skip to the third one. What happened?
Oh, the last interview, we were separated. So I went in first. Then the officer that interviewed me, he brought out my previous divorce papers, document I provided, and he told me that the documents are fake. Then I asked him a question. I said, these are government documents from my country, and this was being provided not from me, my previous marriage. My wife was the one that did the divorce.
All right, so
we're not together no more.
So this is the story, okay? Where are you from, Africa?
Yes, sir.
Where in Africa?
Nigeria.
Okay. First of all, Nigeria is not one of Donald Trump's favorite countries. Number 2, I've seen this a lot with African countries where immigration claims the documents you're submitting are false or fake, and they're saying that you were either never married or you're never divorced and you're in a bigamous marriage. I've seen all of that happen multiple times, and then they kind of combine it with you're submitting fake documents and we don't even believe this marriage is real, which is why you have been going on and on and on indefinitely. I think at some point, assuming that these documents that you're submitting are real, honest, honorable, real documents of a marriage, a divorce, a marriage, you passed your Stokes interview. It's not a mandamus that you're going to file against the government. You're going to file what's called an APA claim, which is an Administrative Procedures Act claim that they're violating their own procedures. You've submitted real documents. You've submitted real marriage, real divorce, a real marriage. You got interviewed, proved that there was a real marriage, and now you're asking a federal judge to tell the government to give you a green card. And then we obviously argue it out in court, and then the federal government has to come and give us evidence. They just can't. When you go for an interview at immigration, they could say your documents are fake, go screw yourself. In federal court, they have to say, you know what? Here's the evidence that these documents are fake. Other than that, if they don't have evidence that the documents are fake, they have to accept them as real. Okay, so that's what needs to happen now. I've seen this happen many, many times. You're going to keep getting screwed. You're going to keep getting your rights violated, and I think that's what needs to happen. So hold on one second. Let's go to Richard in Norfolk, Virginia. Richard.
Yeah, Ham, how you doing, bro?
How are you?
Good, hanging in there, man. I had a question. I just moved from Maryland, D.C., and I was married there, and I got divorced. I have 2 kids with my wife, and I recently moved back to Virginia and got married again. And my wife is active duty military, and we just got married, and we have a 3-month-old baby.
Great.
So I was wondering, she filed for my naturalization with USCIS recently, but I was just trying to find out, do I fall in the category of trying to expedite it? Because I'm already being charged for child support in Maryland, which I'm already in deficit, and I'm not even a citizen yet. So I was just wondering, that's my question. And is there any, as far as, privilege given to, military?
The privilege you get for marrying someone in the military is a lower requirement for affidavits of support. But if you owe child support, you got to be paid in full, or they're going to say you're a person of bad moral character. I think those were 2 different questions.
Okay, but how would one pay that though without being able to work? If you're not legal yet.
Guess what? That's the absurdity of it all. Even though you're not legal to work, you're expected to work anyway, and you're expected to support your child. And if you don't, they're going to say bad moral character. And that's the absurdity of it all. But that's what you need to do. Go get a job and pay the child support. All right? Because other than that, you may very well be denied.
Don't break the law. And
I'm not here to debate the law with you. I'm not here to debate the law with you. I'm telling you what it is. So, that's what it is. There's lots of people out of status who seem to be able to support their children. That's what the government's going to say. Hold on. Let's go to Kellen in Queens. Kellen.
Hello, good night.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good night. I was just calling to, I wanted to find out, now I got arrested with a possession of a small, like 0.5 marijuana blunt. I just did doing my green card. So I wanted to find out if that will affect me because the charge was dismissed.
As long as it was dismissed, it won't affect you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Let's go to Nika in Fort Lauderdale. Nika.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Nika. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
What's going on?
I want to say that I'm loving your show.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to know, how long would it take a green card holder to file for their unmarried daughter over 21?
About 7 years.
7 years, okay. It's 3 questions. All right. The other
That's
one
it?
is,
Oh, there's more.
how long can I stay on a B1, B2 visa
6
while in
months.
a pending petition?
6 months.
Yeah, that's what I. But I would like to know, like, if I can stay at least for 3 months at a time.
Say that again. If you don't what?
If I can stay like 3 months at a time.
You're asking. Okay, this is the story with B1, B2 visas. B1, B2 visa is to visit. So if you're trying to figure out how I can use a B1, B2 visa to come live here, you're going to get screwed in the end. For every,
No, I
you
don't
gotta
wanna
be,
live here,
you
I'm
gotta
just
be,
visiting.
you gotta be in the United States less on a B1, B2 visa than elsewhere. So there's no specific rule. I can come for 3 months and I can come for 2 months. You have to be in another country more than somewhere else. Because if you're here more than somewhere else, then you're living here on a tourist visa, which you can't do, which is impermissible. So I think what you need to do now is, if you're in legal status, let's figure out a different visa to keep you here on if that's what you want to do. So hold on 1 second. Let's go to John in Boston. John.
Hello.
Hi, John. How are you?
I'm doing good, and you?
Good.
Yeah. My dad is citizen, and he filed an I-130 for me in 2014, and I-130 is approved. So now I'm wondering if I can file any adjustment of status.
What's your status right now?
I'm visiting right now.
Okay. And you said your dad filed for you when?
On 2014.
When?
June 2014, and the priority date is
July 8th.
May 2014.
Okay. And how long have you been here on a visitor's visa?
No, just 2 months.
Okay. So if you wait 1 more month in legal status, because you can't file an adjustment for your first 90 days, that's fraud. You wait more than 90 days, your priority date is current, then the answer is yes, you can file an adjustment. But you got to wait the 90 days minimum.
So after 90 days, I can file an
Correct.
adjustment of status?
Yes, as long as you're in legal status. Priority dates are current, but you got to wait minimum of 90 days.
Okay, but with the adjustment of status, will I be able to work or get a permit?
You would get a work permit, you get a travel document. Sounds like you need a good lawyer, so hold on. But the answer to your question is yes. Hold on. Let's go to Kaif in Moline, Illinois. Kaif.
Hello, Brad.
How are you?
I'm good. You?
Good. What's going on?
We got a baby after I received an approval for my I-130 application. Now I want to know how and when do I have to notify NVC about my child?
You do it now. You write them with your case number and a copy of the birth certificate and ask them to include the child on your case.
Okay. My second question is, if I become citizen before the visa application, our child is not going to lose his derivative status?
No, the child would, so you would have to file a separate I-130 for the child now, so that way they can come with the mother.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So with that being said, Belgium Kim and Yonathan, Yo-Yo, Elias, if you are injured in a construction site accident, you are due compensation for your injuries and loss of ability to work. Spar and Bernstein's personal injury attorney and partner, Moshe the Bulldozer Baruch, joins me to break it down and what to do if you find yourself in this situation. Let's watch. Every year, 10% of construction workers in the United States of America get injured on the job. According to the Census of Fatal Occupational Injuries in 2017 alone, 5,147 construction workers died on the job. When an accident leaves a construction worker incapacitated, they and their families lose the financial security they once had. A good attorney is needed to make sure that the injured parties are compensated to the highest level, because most of the time they will never be able to work again. And there is one bite of the apple when it comes to fighting for compensation in court. With me to discuss what to do if you or your loved one is involved in a job construction accident is Spar and Bernstein's very own personal injury attorney and partner, Moshe the Bulldozer Baruch. Moshe, how are you?
Good.
All right, so Moshe, let me ask you a question. You get injured in a job, and a lot of people say, well, I don't want to sue my employer. I'm not going to do that. I like the guy. I don't want to sue my employer. What do you have to say about that?
I notice a lot of people, they do that. They say, well, I got injured on the job. I love my employer. He's treating me fairly. I don't want to sue him. Well, the good news is, Brad, you can't sue your employer.
What do you mean you can't sue your employer?
Well, that's the law. You can't sue your employer because the law in New York State says if you get injured on the job, you get certain types of benefits in form of workers' compensation. And so as a change for that, you can't sue your employer legally. There are two exceptions, though, really quickly, Brad.
Okay.
The two exceptions are if your employer intentionally hits you, so if, God forbid, Brad, you intentionally hit me.
Right. Which I almost wanted to once, but I didn't.
All right, that's the first
Right.
exception. You can then sue your employer. And
Right.
the second exception is if he doesn't have workers' compensation insurance.
Right.
If he doesn't have workers' compensation insurance, then you can sue him because now you don't have where to go to for your medical benefits and your out-of-pocket expenses.
So who are you suing then?
So, in a construction accident, there are general contractors, there's the owner of the premises where the accident occurred, there are the subcontractors. And so 240, 241 labor laws permit you to sue all of these people strictly. It's strict liability. So you can sue the owner of the premises. Even
What do you
if
mean by strict liability? What does that mean?
strict liability means it's not delegable, the duties of keeping the workplace safe.
It's automatic liability.
Correct. And you can sue any one of them. You can sue the owner 100%, you can sue the subcontractor 100%, it doesn't matter. But usually you sue everybody all together, and then they apportion the liability.
What happens if you trip over something you're not watching, or you stab yourself by accident? I mean, can you still sue everybody? I mean, at what point can you not start suing everybody?
So usually 241 and 241.6 allow you to sue for several types of incidents. For example, if you fall off a scaffold, you don't have to prove why the scaffold was defective or why you fell. Again, it's strict liability. You fall off a scaffold, the presumption of negligence is imputed on these people, and so you don't have to show why the scaffold fell. You can also sue if you trip and fall over an object on the ground where you're working. You can sue if you slip and fell on water or
If
substance.
something falls on you or you fall.
Correct. So it's gravity
Any
related.
gravity-related accident.
Exactly.
Or you tripping over something.
So you're working and something from the top of you falls and you weren't even working with that particular object, you've got a case.
Now, you had a case where somebody was injured as a result of their employer not giving them some equipment that would have prevented them from getting injured.
Correct.
And that person didn't want to sue the employer. And you're like, don't worry, you're not suing them.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened in that case.
When he came in for consultation, he told me that his employer was the one who was giving everybody the equipment, the safety equipment they were using on the job. And the employer forgot to give him his harness to attach to the ceiling where he was working. And when he was working, he fell, and the harness would have prevented his fall, and his employer apologized to him. And then when he came to me, he said, I don't want to sue my employer, although it was his fault. And I said to him, good news. You can't sue your employer. And so unfortunately what we had to do was we had to get the owner of the premises, the general contractors, the subcontractors involved, and the employer was not part of the lawsuit.
And what was the end result of this case?
That one settled for $1.5 million.
He got $1.5 million after the man didn't want to sue at all because he thought he was going to be suing his employer. And he ended up settling for $1.5 million. What was his injury?
He had a back surgery. It was a herniation into his lumbar spine. And the good news is he went back to work within 6 months of the accident.
Wow. So 6 months out of work, a back surgery, didn't want to sue his employer. He was going to walk away from $1.5 million. But Moshe said, wait a second, you're not suing your employer. You're suing everybody else. None of these people you know.
Exactly.
And he ended up with $1.5 million, and his back is better, hopefully, and he's back at work.
And the good news is, a lot of times you don't know who the contractors or subcontractors are. And so you can sleep good at night knowing that you're not suing your employer, you're going to get paid if you have a good lawyer working on the case, and you live a beautiful life in the future.
That's wonderful. Great news. So everybody out there, we say this all the time, 10% of construction workers get injured every year. And there's a good percentage of them who never do anything about it. Well, that has to change. And the first thing you have to do is save our telephone number. It's 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. If anybody gets injured in an accident, you need to have good attorneys right there, ready and willing and able and intelligent and smart and effective You need a bulldozer like Moshe Baruch. That's what you need. 1-800-529-5465. That's who you need to help you. God forbid you're in an accident. Save our telephone number because people get hurt on construction accidents all the time. Thanks, Moshe.
No problem.
Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. All right, I do got to remind everybody, if you don't get your questions answered live on our show, you could always follow me on my personal Instagram at @RealBradBernstein. If you are part of the Brad Squad, and Belgium Kim and Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias will tell you how to become part of the Brad Squad, and I know who you are, and you make a comment, I'll be happy to try to answer your questions. Just send me a DM. And if I can't, I'll tell you to make a consultation, but at least I'll try to do my best I can for you. Follow me at Real Brad Bernstein. Also, maybe you want to like a picture or two. It doesn't hurt. Also, Belgium Kim, Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias. Oh, well, before I say that, also, you got to follow us at Brad Show Live to see the best clips from our previous shows as well as our best of our produced content. And you can follow us at Brad Show Live on Instagram as well. And Belgium Kim and Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
And you can catch me and everything that's going on with me personally and Brad Show Live behind the scenes at Field Pieces at Travel Queen Kim.
And you can find everything that's going on in my life at Yonathan Elias TV.
All right, and quickly, before we get to social media check-in, just remind everybody what they need to do because this will be their last opportunity to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend that I'm going to answer their immigration questions now. Tell them what they need to do.
Okay, to start a watch party, make sure that you hit the share button, hit watch party, write a nice little blurb about who we are and what we're doing and why it's so important for your friends to be watching, and hit start. That's as easy as it is. And if you want to share in a multitude of other ways, Yonathan, how do they do that?
And other ways to share is just copy the link on YouTube and send it to anybody's text message blast. You can make a group of friends and family, international friends who you think might need help from the show or just might enjoy it, and send them the link, or also send it straight to your social media platforms. Same for Facebook. Copy or just share. Click the little arrow that says share. Share it to anybody's page. Share it in an inbox and share it to different groups. All right.
And on YouTube, don't forget to give a thumbs up.
There you go.
We have 200 people watching on YouTube and only 65 people like to give a thumbs up.
So I'm
sure there will also be those 2 haters that every day give me a thumbs down.
Do you know what else I saw today on YouTube when I was poking around?
What?
That of all of our subscribers, only 25% of you have hit that bell that gets the notification when we're live.
Wow.
That's absolutely unacceptable, and I'm going to need the other 75% of you to hit that bell right now.
Exactly. And with that, we're going to get into the potatoes part of our... This is the potatoes. We already did the meat. We're now into potatoes. Social media check-in. Belgium, Kim, Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias. What do you got?
Our first question is from Israel, who says, I've been deported twice without seeing a judge, and one of them was voluntarily. The second, I didn't sign any papers, but they still deported me without seeing a judge. Would it be possible for me to apply for any visa if I get married with my fiance?
It depends what you were deported for. If you were deported, if you came back for a re-entry after a prior deportation without permission, it sounds like you are going to be out of the country for almost a lifetime. I would need to look at your records. Sounds like you got stopped at the airport, and that's why you did not see a judge.
All right, next one comes from Dana Love saying, I have parking tickets. Is this going to affect my citizenship application, and do I have to tell the officer about this?
If you have unpaid, like fat $10,000 of unpaid tickets, maybe that's bad moral character. But if you have parking tickets, that's not bad moral character. It's not deportable. You'll be fine.
Samir said, I moved to the U.S. in 2002 with a 10-year DV lottery green card. My green card expired in 2012, and I did not apply for renewal yet because I have a few convictions. In 2008 and 2009, I pled guilty to 2 harassment charges. In 2011, and I pled guilty to reckless assault in the 3rd degree. That was a misdemeanor and was sentenced to 60 days in jail. What are my chances of actually getting my green card renewed?
I would need to know what those harassment charges were. If the harassment charges were disorderly conducts, that's not a criminal offense. And the other one was an attempted assault, and what happened?
We went to jail for 6 months on that.
That sounds like a crime of moral turpitude. I would have to see if that happened more than 5 years after you entered America. That would determine whether you're deportable or not. You would need the consultation.
Next one comes from Mandy saying, I married a U.S. citizen. He filed for me and my 2 kids. I'm in the U.S. already, have my work permit and social security number. One of my kids, I-130, got approved, and the other transfer NVC. Does both my kids will get through this or get through the same PD?
It sounds like
February 12th.
It sounds like both of the kids have applications that are processing at different tracks. So ultimately, you would have to get the slower kid up to the track of the faster kid. Other than that, it sounds like one kid's going to get an appointment before the other.
So the prior date is February 12th of this year. How long will that take?
Only the magic 8 ball knows.
Okay.
But generally, if these are immediate relatives and they're under 21 years old and they're being filed by a U.S. citizen parent, and I'm making all these assumptions, it's about 12 to 18 months.
Yuli has a question from Indiana. My brother is a permanent resident since 1994 and wants to apply for citizenship, but he's got a criminal record. He has a charge for patronizing a prostitute in 2013. 365 days were imposed, but only 4 of those days were executed. Is this a crime of moral
Yes,
turpitude?
it is.
Also,
it is.
We have 4 DUIs, 3 in New York from 97 to 2005, and 1 in Kentucky a few years ago.
By the way, I was saying up until this past Friday that DUI is not a deportable offense, but it is. But DWI is. Now, William Barr came out with a decision because he actually can make his own BIA decisions.
Right.
On Friday, we were just in an attorney meeting. I just discovered this. That 2 DUI offenses basically means you have bad moral character. And therefore, you're going to have trouble becoming a citizen. And in addition to that, you are going to have trouble for cancellation of removal, for 212C waivers, proving good moral character to win your deportation case. So although it is not deportable, they're now saying it's bad moral character, which is an end around to try to get you deported. Come see me.
All right, Akmal saying, I have a question. Arrived at crossing border, detained and got credible fear in 2016 and submitted asylum application in February 2017. Waited for the individual date, which is next year, 2020, New York City. If he wants to marry with his U.S. citizen girlfriend, how can he adjust the status? He'll go back to his country, or judge will do his adjustment of status in his individual date, 2020.
You need to file an I-130 visa petition, get it approved, prove it's a bona fide marriage, and then request the judge to withdraw your asylum and allow you to file an adjustment application.
Sexy Shan says, what should you receive after filing VAWA if it's been 8 months now?
Hopefully a prima facie, and if you filed an adjustment, you should have gotten a work permit too.
Zara saying, what are some of the key things immigration look for in a VAWA interview?
Proof that you were abused, proof you have good moral character, proof that it was a real marriage.
Jamie said, if my I-130 petition is approved, can I adjust in front of an immigration judge without my priority date being current? My LPR dad filed for me in 2018 and I was under 21, but now I'm over 21.
No, your priority date has to be current.
I'm also pregnant with a U.S. citizen's baby, and in 2 weeks I'll be due. I'm afraid of custody issues if I get deported at my master calendar hearing in March. So how do I go about handling this situation before?
Go hire a good lawyer.
DZ Info saying my I-824 is now under review, and he told me I should expect a decision shortly. How long until I should expect the decision? It's been 1 month since I received the email.
I've answered this already, but by law, 120 days.
Okay. Boo Kunmi said, good day, Uncle Brad.
Good day.
My I-45 is still pending, and I put in my work permit renewal documents in January 29th. This year, still haven't heard anything until October 5th. It said that we completed our review. We completed the review of your fingerprints and on working on your I-765. We'll let you know if we make a decision. So please tell me, what do you think? Should I be expecting my new green card soon, or should I send them a letter asking how long I need to wait again? What's the deal here?
You either wait or you go get a lawyer who files a mandamus, but ultimately you writing a letter is worthless.
All right. Mass Diao saying, when I get my green card after entering the U.S. with the IR1 visa, after paying the fees before I left.
Yes.
That was all. So
you'll get your green card. Basically, he got sponsored by a spouse. He paid the fee to get the green card mailed to him, and that'll be about 8 weeks after you come to America.
Okay.
I think that's the question.
Christina says, how can you apply for an adjustment of status without leaving the country when you were brought here as a child with an unlawful entry?
You would have to, You adjust your status based on what?
That I don't know. Let's say
This is just-
marriage,
this
but
is
I
just-
don't know. I got nothing.
Well, you got to prove a legal entry, or you got to prove your 245I, or get a parole in place. If you're married to someone in the military or former military, you need a consultation.
Yeah, that's what she actually
Right. Basically, it's how do I get a green card?
Right. Consultation.
Right.
All right. God working for me saying, hey, Brad, can a conditional green card holder file for his or her children?
Yes.
Jean said, so do I have to count my 3 years being a resident when my I-130 was approved, or the date on my residency card, because I'd like to start applying for citizenship?
The date on your residency card.
Sue Wong saying, what's the 125% poverty guideline for a family of 7 in Maryland for an affidavit?
Basically, get to about $19,000 and multiply 30 and add 3,500 times 6.
I have a quick question from one anonymous poster who said, why would ICE not pick me up after release from prison if I have a detainer?
They fucked up.
Okay.
Don't draw attention to yourself, kind sir.
Lucky you.
Right. All right. And we have one from Lee saying, are EAD and I-485 processed separately? Got the RFE on the I-485 application. Could this delay the process of the EAD? And why are they processing green cards before EAD these days?
Yeah, if they ask you for an RFE, you've delayed your work permit. Absolutely.
Jay, Barth said, can you get a divorce in the U.S. if you're not married here if you and your spouse are both immigrants?
Yes.
Desmond saying, how do I contact U.S. Embassy in Jamaica because I can't get in touch with the live agent to talk to?
You got to call and speak to them.
They're trying.
Then you call us.
Right.
There's a telephone number to call.
Exactly.
Knock down that door. I'm just kidding.
Right.
Don't do that. That's terrible advice. K.N. Forrester I sent my adjustment of status. It was received on the 2nd of October, and I'm yet to receive a notification saying they got it. Is that normal to take so long to acknowledge an application?
If you don't get a receipt within 2 to 4 weeks and your check hasn't been cashed, you've got a problem.
That's all we got for right now.
So meanwhile, born and raised in Bacolod City, Philippines. Hello, Philippines!
Hey, hey, hey.
Nikko grew up eating classic dishes like sig and pork abodo, made with love by his grandmother. He's now living in Charleston, South Carolina, and he's bringing his authentic Filipino cuisine to the South with his pop-up restaurant, Mansueta. What's incredible is Nikko didn't start cooking professionally until 2014 after he had come to the United States. Now he's living the American dream. Let's watch. Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese, Thai food, they all become very popular in the United States. But what about Filipino cuisine? That is a category of Asian food that is still working towards popularity in America. According to Nikko Cagalanan, Filipino food represents the melting pot of Asia, and he's bringing his own authentic taste of the Philippines to the South. Nikko is the owner of the authentic Philippine pop-up restaurant Mansueta's in Charleston, South Carolina. Joining me today to tell me about his pop-up restaurant and give us a lesson or two in Filipino cuisine is Nikko Cagalanan. Nikko, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So you are the owner of Mansueta's. You are also the chef.
Yes, I am. I started my Mansueta's pop-up just to bring Filipino food to Charleston because nobody's doing it.
Are you the only Filipino cuisine in Charleston that you're aware of?
I'm the one that's doing my kind of style, but there's some like up north Charleston doing their own thing.
But not, without bragging, you're the best, right?
I'll say that.
So now, where did your passion for cooking come from?
So growing up in the Philippines, I just watched my grandmother cook, and then that was like my whole childhood life. And then moving here to the US 2011, I miss everything she was cooking. So I started like watching how to cook Filipino food in YouTube. And that's how it all started. I didn't know how to cook.
Did you ever go to any specialized training to be a chef? No.
No.
Basically, it's grandma's recipes growing up as a kid with your take on it based on lessons you've learned from YouTube. And now you have a successful restaurant. That's amazing. Tell me some of your favorite memories of cooking with grandma. Did you cook with her, or you just sat there in the kitchen and watched?
I didn't cook with her. I just watched her cook. Every morning, her routine is cooking and like waking us up with the all the smells. We sat on the table, watch her cook. That's how my memory is of my grandmother. When I moved to the US, I know all the flavors. So that's like my base of like when I started cooking, and it's like, oh, this is how it tastes. This is how I'm gonna adjust like my cooking. That's how I just decided to just do it.
When did you decide to come to the United States?
So me and my wife decided to go to the US after I graduated nursing in the Philippines 2011. My wife is a citizen in the US. She petitioned me to go to the US.
I understand. And you got your green card and you came here thinking you were going to be a nurse because that's what you studied in the Philippines.
So 2014, we moved from Boston to Miami. And she was teaching at University of Miami, and I didn't transfer all my licenses from Massachusetts. I decided to just cook at home, so when she gets home after work, there's like food already cooked. All she had to do is like relax and eat. That's how it started.
So you just went from a loving husband who was taking care of his wife to owning a restaurant. How was your transition? You grew up in the Philippines. Was the pace of life completely different for you, and how did you adjust to that?
It's a big difference. For me, it's like my first few months is really like culture shock. So in the Philippines, we grew up like talking to like our neighbors. Like when you see your neighbor walking the street, it's like you invite them to go in your house, have snack, have breakfast, have dinner, come inside the house. And then moving here in the US, it's not like that. It's like you don't even talk to your neighbors. It's so different. In the Philippines, everybody's nice. It's third world country. They appreciate every little thing. And then going here in the US, there's a lot of like not appreciating like little things.
But you're enjoying your experience in America nonetheless, right?
I am, but every day it's like adjusting for me from Massachusetts, and then we moved to Miami, and then back to Massachusetts, go to South Carolina. In the South, it's really different from up north. Up north is very fast. Right. Here in the South, it's like slower. They take their time.
What made you get to South Carolina?
My wife got a teaching job. She's a professor at Coastal Carolina University. So that's why we moved to South Carolina in the first place.
When did you get your first restaurant job?
I got my first restaurant job outside of Boston. It's Medfield, Massachusetts. That was like 2014, 2015. So I'm a baby when it comes to like cooking. Like less than 4 years is not a lot of like experience.
So you still invest a lot of money in a pop-up. Tell me the difference between what a pop-up restaurant is and a regular restaurant, for those who don't know.
I go to a brewery or some restaurant that close Sunday or Monday. I would go there. Sometimes I would pay like percentage of what I'm making, rent the whole restaurant, bring my own menu, bring my own food, bring my own staff, and serve Filipino food. From not knowing anything about business to like having my own like Filipino restaurant-ish, it's a very big step from doing nursing home.
That's a lot of work, doing a full-time job and the pop-ups. So how many weeks are you putting in altogether?
I work at my full-time job around 40 to 50 hours a week. And then on my days off, I would prep for my pop-up. And then one of that days off, I would go back home to Myrtle Beach, which is 2 hours from Charleston.
What exactly is Filipino food? It's not Thai, it's not Vietnamese.
There's so many things to Filipino food. One is like, we have the best spring rolls, which is called lumpia. This is the Filipino version of spring rolls. My version is ground pork, a lot of vegetables, calamansi, which is the citrus from the Philippines, and the sauce is just the banana ketchup. It's like one of my thing on my pop-up is like, always have banana ketchup on my spring rolls. Our national dish is adobo, which you can make like either pork or chicken or fish. It's just braising soy vinegar in the trinity of Philippines, which is the garlic, ginger, and onion. Just savory, tangy, but I add a little bit of coconut milk, so it's like creamy, rich. Flavor to it.
Now, you put a lot into the presentation of these dishes. Is that typical that you would find in Filipino restaurants, or is that specific to you?
No, so Filipino food is ugly. It's just a scoop of this, scoop of that. Not really big on presentation.
Right.
But on my that's what I'm trying to like do on my like pop-up restaurant. I know the flavor is there, and I also want to make sure that it will be presented to you like kind of like fine dining or beautiful plated food. That's what I'm like aiming to bring.
What are the basic flavors that you would taste in Filipino food?
In the adobo, it's garlicky, gingery, but the sauce is like tangy with a little bit of like creaminess coming from coconut milk. So that's my take on my pork adobo.
So you had mentioned that you make the best spring rolls with banana ketchup. Why don't you describe what banana ketchup is?
Really famous in the Philippines. All the Asian market have it. We have this type of banana in the Philippines. It's called saba. It's very thick. You just smash it or put it in a blender. It turns out very like starchy. The red color is just a food coloring.
Just for presentation. Now, one of the most striking visuals of your dishes is ubi, or purple yam. It's an ice cream sandwich on a butter brioche roll. Tell me a little bit about that.
It's like an ice cream sandwich, but I add a little slices of strawberries just for a little like acidity and like texture to it.
What do you keep in your refrigerator?
I have purple yam ice cream, ginger, and scallion, that's for sure. And then on my pantry, I have soy and vinegar and rice.
What do you consider comfort food?
For me, it's just rice and a very good sunny side up egg.
What gets your mouth salivating?
My grandmother's garlic fried rice.
Really?
That's like my early memory of like her cooking.
What's your pet peeve that annoys you as an owner?
So with Filipino food, there's a lot of like weird food or weird part of animals. So we have a like really famous dish. It's called sisig, Anthony Bourdain's favorite Filipino dish, which is like a braised pig's head. But if you put it on your menu and you say pig's head, people won't order it. So my pet peeve is like people that doesn't wanna. They say that they don't like the food. They don't like the food, but they haven't tried it yet.
Right.
And it's just,
it's one thing
weird
to say I don't like it after trying it, but it's another thing to say I don't like it and not try it. Now, you watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay. What's the pressure like in the kitchen? Do you find yourself throwing pots and pans at people?
I'm very mellow when I'm in the kitchen. I'm really focused. I don't really have a temper.
What ingredient do you think that Americans should be eating more or liking more that you find in Filipino food that you don't normally find in American restaurants?
I think the most underrated ingredients is scallion or ginger.
Why scallions?
They just use it to like garnish food. Like they just throw it in the plate. But in the Philippine cooking, I use it to braise all my meats to get all the flavors in from there. There's so much thing you can do from it.
When you came to the United States, what your dreams were for your life? Did you achieve your dreams? Have you achieved your American dreams?
It's weird for me to look at myself like having to do with like business related work, especially like owning something. For me, it's just helping my family in the Philippines while I'm still here and just having all that I need, basic needs, just right now.
Well, congratulations on your pop-up restaurant. I wish you the best of luck.
Actually, I'm about to open in less than a month a restaurant.
Where?
Charleston.
So Mansuetas will be a full-time restaurant.
Yeah.
Do you have a website?
I have Instagram, I have Facebook. My Instagram, Nikko Cagalanan. My pop-up name, Mansuetas Filipino Food. That's my Instagram and my Facebook account.
Nikko, congratulations. Best of luck on your new restaurant. And hopefully if I'm down in
Thank you so
Charleston,
much.
I can come and check you out. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, please do. Thank you very much, Brad.
All right, so Nikko's restaurant is opening on November 1st at Workshop Food Hall in Charleston, South Carolina. Congratulations to Nikko.
I love Filipino food.
We wish him the best of luck.
I love Filipino
The few
food.
times I have eaten in Filipino restaurants, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love lumpia.
I do not. Where's that?
Lumpia is a type of like a egg
I thought that was the name of it.
No, it's great. I actually was in the Filipino club in high school.
Why were you in Filipino club?
I was commissioner of spirits, so I was in La Raza club, Filipino club. I used to do the Tagalog. I used to do everything in high school.
See, this is West Coast versus the South. high schools, like, we didn't know what Tagalog was.
That's like the Filipino dance thing.
Right.
Tagalog is also their language.
Yeah, right.
It's their language as well.
Yeah.
All right, put how many minutes? 81 minutes on the clock. We're gonna do 386 questions in 81 minutes. Belgium Kim, Yonathan, Yo-Yo, Elias. We have a battery issue. We have. What type of issue would we have, Belgium Kim, that would require you to not? Oh my God, we had an entire afro come through.
Get in the
our
shot,
show.
Coolio. Wait, get in the shot.
Come here.
Everybody
There
meet
he is.
Coolio.
Oh, he's got Battery boy to the rescue. All right, thank you, Battery boy. And now we're ready.
Live TV.
Right, we're ready. Battery boy came running in.
I like
Battery boy?
Yes.
That is a great nickname. Battery boy forever.
We needed it's like the bat light. We needed Battery boy. We are now ready to put 2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
Belgium Kim is ready to ask the questions.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready? Stop laughing on Belgium Kim. How many questions am I going to answer?
15, Brad.
15 in 2 minutes.
Okay, you ready?
We've never done this.
Yes, we have.
2 minutes?
I think we have.
Okay, I was just trying to be cool.
Okay.
Explore Everything said, when's the next Visa Bulletin say the F2B category is current?
Right now, the F2B is January 8th, 2015.
Binta says, what's the latest on VAWA?
It's still accepting cases.
Rolls-Royce says, can I get my green card after voluntary departure removal if I'm married to a U.S. citizen?
You have to reopen the case.
Natalie says, if my priority date is May 20th, 2019 in the F2A category, how much time do I have to wait?
None, it's current.
Saloni says, can you travel to another state out of status with a valid passport to another state, or those with a real ID can travel to another state?
You can travel with a valid passport.
Matt said, I asked you about how long it takes to get a green card on an IR1 visa after paying the fees before getting into the U.S.
About 8 to 12 weeks.
Almasi says, why wasn't the new public charge rule blocked in the U.S. Embassy abroad?
Because there was no lawsuit for it.
Olive said, my husband is a citizen. Can my 15-year become a citizen too without paying for it? She has a disability.
The answer is yes, as long as the husband becomes a citizen before 18. It's the biological daughter.
Dagri says, how long can a U.S. citizen stay out the country?
Forever.
Samora said, do they test for marijuana and medicals for I-130 petitions? Can anyone in the group give me some info?
Yes.
Marchik's asking for a friend, how many times can you renew a work permit?
Until your case is approved.
Jorge says, what does prima facie mean?
It means that they looked at your case and on its face it looks pretty good.
Michael says, did my citizenship in July, haven't done my swearing yet, how long does it take?
Anywhere from the next day to the next infinity, but they have 120 days to make a decision.
Princess says, what do you and your husband show immigration if you guys don't have a shared bank account?
You better have other things that are shared.
Almasi said, why isn't the new public charge rule blocked in U.S. embassies?
We answered that question.
We did. I don't know what happened to all these. It got like mixed up.
Okay, it's okay.
We only need one more. Hurry up! One more! Jeez!
What's the status on public charge?
Status on public charge?
What is the status on public charge?
In America, it's the same, and abroad, they changed it to the new rule.
Woo! Boom!
Dang.
That was cool.
What the heck happened?
I have no idea what the heck happened.
What happened? Did Battery Boy
screw up?
No, it wasn't. We got it though.
Boy.
It was not Battery
That was so
Boy. That
weird.
was a Google Drive thing, honestly, because I think it duplicated some of our stuff.
That was so weird. I was like,
but we did it.
Because
we did it so fast.
That's right.
Right.
We did it so fast.
That we had all that time.
All that extra time to just freak out.
I was nervous.
I want you to know something. I was in about 2 more seconds. I was under the table.
Thank God.
I was literally about to.
Yeah, because you know it's real.
Right,
now you know it's real.
Saying, I'm nervous.
I'm seriously. I said, I'm not scorching my eyebrows off again. Last time we blew the place up, I had no eyebrows for about a week. All right, comments of the day. Comments of the day. And everybody missed the figure that Kim gave Yo-Yo.
VAWA.
Yes, that was a VAWA moment. Right. Yo-Yo could be filing for VAWA now.
There's no evidence. I don't know what you mean.
Yes, there is. There was a whole camera pointed at
Wasn't
you.
on me. There was nothing. Did y'all see anything?
All right, what do we got?
Evans Michelle with our first comment of the day, who said, Brad's show is all about having a good laugh, being with great friends, all while getting educated.
Nice.
Hey, I like
Nice.
that.
All right, our second comment today comes from Jacobs Asikin.
That's Nikisha Jacobs.
That's Nikisha Jacobs.
That's
nice.
That is.
Nice.
I was like, Asikin.
Yeah, I went through that a while ago.
Real time. He even asked me, and I was like,
Yes.
Asikin,
Right,
Asikin. We got
Nikisha
Jacobs.
Jacobs. All right.
We did that.
I'm here doing my homework, but I paused because I'm not getting to concentrate on my Uncle Brad and what he's saying.
All right.
That's good.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Pause and then get back to homework.
Right, but
after.
get back to your homework, though.
Right. Finish that up.
it, Nikisha.
Finish that up. We don't want you to fail your class.
Right. We've got a little problem with Cordella, I think, Brad.
Cordella
she
Douglas?
said, my husband keeps calling. I block until I'm finished watching the show. My show cannot miss a word now.
Oh, man. Uh-oh.
You can't block your husband for us,
boy.
Cordella.
That looks like there's a fight's going to happen.
And it's going to have Brad Bernstein's name all over
I
it.
don't want to be responsible for that.
Okay. All right, our next one comes from Elizabeth Francis saying, please take Brad's advice on whatever he told you to do. He's a real genius. If you follow him, you'll be on the pathway for great things.
I agree with that. Everything in there is perfect. That was a perfect statement.
That was a perfect
You know, like there was a
statement.
perfect call. That was not. But it was not true. That was a perfect statement.
I got another one for you, Brad. Carol Anderson, the Tiger, who said, these callers are not using the right lawyer. That's why they have to be calling the super lawyer, Brad Bernstein.
That's right. Carol hasn't had a comment today in a while, but now she's back in the comment.
Right, yeah, she is.
And we have our last comment of the day for the beginning of the week. Kay Ann Forrester, she's actually starting a trend with this. She has a new word that she came up with. This show opened the doors to so many different cultures. Edutainment at its best.
Ooh.
I like that.
Edutainment.
We've used infotainment
We've used
before.
Edutainment. I like that.
I actually like that a lot
Call
more.
Webster and ask if that's a word that we're #edutainment.
If not, Kay Ann Forrester, you are the winner.
She is a lexicologist.
Oh!
Right,
An edutainment lexicologist.
I think she's brilliant. All right, we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And we are going to start, we talked about this. Right?
Yes.
We are going to try to start on time at 5:38.
So everybody be ready.
I'm with that.
5:38.
I will take that. 5:38 p.m. We're meeting
Belgium
here.
Kim said if we start at 5:38, that is on time.
That's
for
it.
us.
I'll take it.
All right, we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465.